Ready, set, art. So this is our patterned feather with a sunset background and clouds. This is a separate piece of paper that I cut out and then I glued onto the watercolor background. So you'll need 2 pieces of paper for this project. For the inking, I should see at least 3 different values. In the rough draft, you've already shown me your patterns that you're going to use. So in this, when you ink it, I need to see the different values. So obviously black and white. And you got to balance that black and white. You don't want it to all look like a black outline and then 90% white. There should be a good amount of thick black areas to contrast in the piece. The other one is this medium value, which is just really thin black lines near each other to create this medium value. So I should see that in the feather part. For the background, there are many different sunsets that you can look at that have clouds in it. I'm going to stick to kind of this pillowy looking cloud with a dark blue background and some of the orange. If you're going to have some landscaping in it, you got to make sure that it kind of looks more advanced, because if it looks too cartoony, it will distract from your feather. Alright, so this is how I get started. I'm going to take my cardstock. It's a thicker paper. If you have watercolor paper, of course that's better. And then I have my watercolor, and I'm going to use this light color first and then a blue. And then I have my water ready to go. So I take my water, get my yellow going, and you need a lot of water because it's a lot of background. And you can see I'm just kind of boop, boop, boop. Not like this, because I've been some bristles. I'm using the base here, okay? And I can start creating kind of an abstract shaped looking cloud. Kind of pillowy, just like that. And I'm going to do another one over here. And I wanted a lot of orange for this piece, so I'm going to make sure to have a lot of clouds. A lot of clouds. The sun's shining up into these clouds from the sunset and making them kind of orange. Well, the back sky is becoming darker blue, getting ready for night. Alright. I'm trying to work as fast as I can. I'm going for more of an impressionistic look. So impressionism means you're giving the impression of it. It's not completely photorealistic, as they would say. It's giving the impression. And it's meant to be done very fast. We're kind of contrasting the exactness that we see in the inking process of your feather with a loose kind of style in your background. All right. Almost there. If you think you went too dark, which that's not what I think right now, but you could take a paper towel and kind of go like this and lift it up. Okay? Then I think it's better if you wait for it to dry, but due to demonstration purposes, I'm going to go ahead with my blue. And I'm going to fill in the back part. So I'm essentially doing this in layers. It'll make it easier so it doesn't bleed into each other. So I'm putting in this blue. Trying to work quickly for you guys. It can look kind of loose like that, and you know how sky is. Sometimes it does have those variations. Sometimes it's really a solid color, but in other cases, depending on the wind, with the clouds, it can cause variations in the sky to have lighter areas and darker areas. And we're eventually going to add some purple too. Okay. Alright, so now I have this part, and I really need to let it dry. I already have a dry one ready to go, so I'm going to put that to the side. And here's this one. It's dried and it looks lighter than what you were seeing before because it just does that. Alright, so now I'm ready to add some darker values. I'm going to go in with my orange. And I'm not going to cover the whole thing. This time I'm going to try to keep the top part light as I do this. See how that's working? And if you want to do a wet into wet technique at this point, that's probably a good idea. So I'm going to take some magenta and just add that in. See how that does? And then it's going to start to dry as I work on the other areas. So bring that up. Add some of that pink in there. Add some orange. See, that's the top part of that cloud, so I'm trying to leave it alone. Get some pink in there. So you can kind of tell that it's creating this abstract kind of look. I accidentally dipped into that magenta first, but that's okay. Alright. So now we're at this point. I'm going to start working on that background. So I'm going to take some blue and purple and just kind of start edging out my cloud, kind of using that to shape, like so. And then I'll just kind of bleed it out, or blend it out, see that? I don't want to create like an outline, because that would be kind of weird. So I'm going to take some blue and bring it out a little more. See how that works? I'm going to do the same up here. Clear water. If that happens, lift it out and kind of just wait a bit. Alright. I'm going to continue to work on this area. I think that you would get the idea that what I did here is what you would do here. Okay. So I want to do some more oranges. And this time I'm going to try to make smaller little dots on top instead of the big ones that I was doing. So we have the nice layering of the light color underneath, then the big blocking of that lighter, of the next darker color, and now I'm taking this orange and I'm making little dots, right? I'm going to take some, I need a darker color, so I'm going to add some purple to my red and to my brown, and add an even darker color. See how that's working? If you want it to bleed a little more, then you can add a little water on top. And you would let that dry. You could keep it bright yellow like this. Eventually in my piece, I did decide to go a little more orange. I wanted to do, I think I just wanted more like of a sunset, as in it's really getting dark outside. So anyways, you could keep layering to the point that you like. Put this over here until it looks like this or similar. You could look at other photo references. I was kind of looking at big, huge clouds for this piece. Once it dried, I cut out my inked feather and glued it on here. So can you have your sunset more like this and have the feather go this way? Sure. I realized after I did this, I had to have it this way, but if I had to redo it, I'd have the feather this way, but I had the birds facing this way, so I had to have it go up like this. So good luck.